I was about to sign the quitclaim deed when the bank teller grabbed my wrist. "Mrs. Henderson, please don't." Her voice was barely above a whisper, but her grip was firm. "That's not what you think it is." I looked up at her, confused. My daughter Lisa stood beside me, her smile frozen in place. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're watching from in the comments. The morning had started normally enough. I'd been watering the orchids in my sunroom, the ones I'd cultivated for 30 years in this house. The light came through the windows just right at 9 a.m., catching the dewdrops on the petals. I'd bought this house in 1987 with my late husband Thomas. We'd raised Lisa here. Every room held memories. Thomas had died 2 years ago, and I'd been living alone until 6 months ago when Lisa and her husband Derek moved in. "Just temporarily, Mom," Lisa had said. "Derek lost his job. We need a few months to get back on our feet." I'd said yes immediately. She was my only child. What else would I do? But things had changed. Small things at first. Derek's job search seemed non-existent. He spent days on the couch, phone in hand, betting on sports games. I'd see the apps when he left his screen unlocked. Lisa had grown distant, speaking to me in careful, measured tones, like I was a stranger she had to manage. That morning, Lisa had appeared in the sunroom doorway. "Mom, I made an appointment at the bank for you. 11 o'clock. We need to update your estate planning." "Estate planning?" I set down the watering can. "I updated everything last year with Robert Chen. Everything's in order. Things change, Mom." Her voice had that patient tone that made me feel like I was being handled. "You're getting older. We should make sure I can help manage things if something happens to you." I was 68, not ancient. I'd retired from Morrison & Associates accounting firm 3 years ago, still sharp, still balancing my own checkbook to the penny every month. But I'd learned not to argue with Lisa lately. The tension in the house was already thick enough. At the bank, Lisa had guided me to a desk where a young man I'd never seen handed me papers. "Just sign here, Mrs. Henderson. This transfers the house into joint ownership with your daughter. Makes everything easier for estate planning." I'd reached for the pen. That's when the teller intervened. Now she stood there, hand on my wrist, professional smile not quite hiding the urgency in her eyes. Her name tag read Jennifer Martinez. "Mrs. Henderson, could I speak with you privately for a moment? There's an issue with your account I need to discuss." Lisa's hand landed on my shoulder. "Mom doesn't need to go anywhere. We can handle whatever it is right here." Jennifer's grip on my wrist tightened slightly. "Bank policy requires privacy for certain account matters. It'll just take a moment." I looked between them. Lisa's jaw was tight. Derek had appeared from somewhere, standing too close to the teller's desk. Something felt wrong. "All right," I said, standing. "Lisa, I'll be right back." Jennifer led me past the teller windows to a small, glass-walled office. She closed the door, checked the hallway, then turned to face me. "Mrs. Henderson, I've been your teller for 5 years. You come in every month to review your statements. You're meticulous, organized." She pulled out a file. 3 weeks ago, your daughter came in alone. She tried to add her name to all your accounts using a power of attorney document. She has power of attorney? According to the document she presented, yes, but something felt off. The notary stamp looked wrong. I flagged it for review. Our fraud department confirmed it. The power of attorney is forged. The words took a moment to register. Forged. My daughter. Then yesterday, Jennifer continued, she called asking about the value of your house. Today she brings you in to sign a quitclaim deed. Mrs. Henderson, that document would transfer your house entirely to her. You'd have no ownership rights. If she wanted to, she could evict you from your own home. I sat down heavily, the orchids that morning, watering them in the sunroom, my sunroom, in my house, that Lisa was trying to steal. What do I do? My voice came out smaller than intended. Jennifer handed me a business card. "This is Detective Sarah Morrison, Financial Crimes Division." I already called her. She's expecting to hear from you." She paused. "Mrs. Henderson, I don't know your situation, but in my experience, when family members forge documents to access accounts and property, it doesn't stop there." I looked through the glass wall. Lisa was on her phone, pacing. Derek watched the office, arms crossed. They looked like strangers. When had that happened? "Don't sign anything," Jennifer said. "Not today. Tell them you want your lawyer to review it first. Then call Detective Morrison." I left the office on shaking legs. Lisa looked up, forced smile returning. "Everything okay, Mom?" "Just a routine verification issue." The lie came surprisingly easily. "The bank needs my lawyer to review the estate documents before processing. Robert Chen. I'll call him tomorrow." Derek's face darkened. "We're here now. Can't you just sign?" "Derek," Lisa's voice held warning. She turned to me, softer. "Of course, Mom. Whatever makes you comfortable. Let's go home." In the car, I pretended to doze while my mind raced. 35 years as an accountant. I'd tracked money, found discrepancies, uncovered fraud in corporate books. The skills were the same. Follow the paper trail. Document everything. Find the pattern. At home, I went to my bedroom, closed the door, and called Detective Morrison. She arrived 2 hours later in an unmarked car, dressed in casual clothes. I'd told Lisa I was napping. The detective sat in my bedroom, notepad out, as I explained everything Jennifer had told me. "Do you have access to your financial documents?" Detective Morrison asked. I opened my closet, pulled out the filing cabinet I'd maintained for 40 years, everything organized by year, by type, alphabetically, within categories. She smiled slightly. "You're an accountant's dream witness." Together we found it. The power of attorney document, dated 4 months ago, supposedly signed by me and notarized. I held it under my reading lamp. The signature wasn't mine, close but wrong. The capital M in Margaret had a flourish I never used. The notary stamp, when examined closely, was blurry, photocopied. "They've been planning this for months," Detective Morrison said, photographing the document. "What else should we look for?" I pulled my bank statements, 6 months of records. My accountant's eye caught them immediately. Small withdrawals, $200 here, $350 there, always under $500. Always when I wouldn't notice. Over 6 months, they'd taken $8,400. ATM withdrawals, Detective Morrison noted. "Do you use ATMs?" "Never. I write checks or use my debit card for specific purchases. I log everything." I showed her my ledger, handwritten, balanced to the penny. "The withdrawals weren't in my records. They have your card." I checked my wallet. My ATM card was there. Then I remembered. I got a replacement card 3 months ago. The bank said my old one had been compromised. They sent a new one. They reported it compromised, got a replacement in your name, and kept the old one active just long enough to drain what they could before the bank caught on. Detective Morrison made more notes. "Mrs. Henderson, I need to be direct. This is systematic financial exploitation, elder abuse. It's a felony. Are you prepared for where this investigation might lead? My daughter could go to prison." Yes. I thought of Lisa at 8, bringing me dandelions from the yard. Lisa at 16, crying on my shoulder about her first heartbreak. Lisa at 25, marrying Derek despite my quiet reservations. Then I thought of the forged signature, the stolen money, the attempt to take my house while I watered my orchids, trusting and oblivious. What do I need to do? Detective Morrison spent the next hour outlining next steps: document review, forensic accounting, surveillance if needed. She'd coordinate with the bank's fraud department. She needed me to act normal, not confront Lisa or Derek. Let them think their plan was proceeding. "Can you do that?" she asked. "Live with them, knowing what they're doing?" I'd spent 35 years maintaining professional composure in boardrooms, hiding my analysis until I had irrefutable proof. Yes, I can do that. After she left, I stood in my bedroom, looking at the file cabinet. Then I did what any good accountant does. I started a new file, labeled it Evidence, and began to organize. The next morning, I installed security cameras. I told Lisa I was worried about package thieves in the neighborhood. She helped me set them up, never realizing they captured audio, recorded 24/7, uploaded to cloud storage only I could access. That night, I listened to their conversation from my bedroom, headphones on, phone displaying the camera feed. She wouldn't sign it. Derek's voice, frustrated. That bank teller fucked everything up. She'll sign eventually. Lisa, calmer. We just need to push harder. Maybe take her to a different bank, someone who doesn't know her. We don't have time. The bookies want their money. 35,000, Lisa. They're not patient people. 35,000 in gambling debts. That explained Derek's desperation. The house is worth $1.8 million. Once we get it, we take a home equity loan, pay them off, and we're clear. And your mom? A pause. Long enough to make my blood run cold. We'll figure it out. Maybe she needs to go into assisted living. She's getting forgetful. I wasn't forgetful, but I understood. They'd create the illusion of incompetence, just like the forged power of attorney created the illusion of authorization. I recorded everything, transcribed it, added it to my evidence file. Days passed. I played my role perfectly. Confused about where I'd put my reading glasses, they were exactly where I always kept them. Asking what day it was, I knew perfectly well. Forgetting I'd taken my medication, I logged every dose, as always. Lisa and Derek exchanged knowing looks. Their plan was working. I was deteriorating before their eyes. Meanwhile, I met Detective Morrison at a coffee shop across town, handed her my growing evidence file. She brought a forensic accountant named David Reeves. Together, we mapped the fraud. The forged power of attorney was just the beginning. They'd created fake medical records. Dr. William Foster, supposedly my physician, had diagnosed progressive dementia. I'd never heard of Dr. Foster. David tracked the medical license. It belonged to a doctor in Nevada who'd retired 5 years ago. Someone had stolen his credentials, created fake letterhead, and manufactured my decline. Who has medical records access? Detective Morrison asked. Lisa worked in medical billing at Riverside Medical Center. She processed insurance claims, had access to patient databases, and understood exactly how to create convincing documentation. We found more. Applications for credit cards in my name, denied because I had excellent credit, and the applications raised red flags. Attempts to change beneficiaries on my pension, inquiries about selling my house, made from Lisa's phone number. They're not just stealing, David said. They're systematically trying to take over your entire financial life. I'd known, abstractly, but seeing it documented, organized, quantified, made it real in a way that turned my stomach. How much time do we need? I asked Detective Morrison. For the criminal case? We're almost there. But civil recovery, protecting your assets, that requires different steps. She connected me with an attorney, Margaret Lee, elder law specialist. We met in her office, spread my evidence across her conference table. Margaret Lee moved quickly. Within 2 days, she'd filed protective orders freezing my accounts, revoking the forged power of attorney, placing legal holds on my property title, all with delayed notification. Lisa and Derek wouldn't know until they tried to access something. That happened on a Tuesday morning. I was in the kitchen when I heard Derek's shout from upstairs. It's not working. The account's locked. I stayed at the counter, slowly buttering toast, listening. What do you mean locked? Lisa, urgent. Every account. Frozen. It says contact institution, immediately regarding security hold. Their footsteps pounded down the stairs. Lisa appeared in the kitchen, phone in hand, face pale. Mom, did you do something with your bank accounts? I looked up, practiced my confused expression. My accounts? No, dear. Why? They're saying there's a security issue. Oh my. Is someone stealing from me? I let worry creep into my voice. Should we call the police? Derek's jaw clenched. No, no police. We'll handle it. But it was too late for handling it. Detective Morrison had coordinated with the prosecutor's office. That afternoon, while Lisa and Derek frantically called banks and lawyers, a process server arrived. I was at the grocery store, alibi established. When I returned, they were in the living room, papers scattered on my coffee table, arguing in sharp whispers that cut off when I entered. Mom, Lisa's voice shook. Did you hire a lawyer? A lawyer? Why would I need a lawyer? She held up the papers, legal documents, criminal complaint, charges of elder financial abuse, fraud, forgery, identity theft, both their names. This is insane. Derek was on his feet, pacing. You're confused, Margaret. We were trying to help you. Estate planning. That's all. I set down my groceries carefully. 35 years of maintaining composure in crisis. I'm not confused, Derek. I'm an accountant. I know exactly what you did. The mask dropped. Both of them. Lisa's face went from concern to cold calculation in an instant. You can't prove anything. I pulled out my phone, opened the cloud storage app, played the recording from last week. Their voices filled my living room. The house is worth $1.8 million. Once we get it, we take a home equity loan. Lisa's hand shot out, tried to grab the phone. I stepped back. That's illegal recording, Derek snarled. You can't use that. Florida is a two-party consent state for private conversations, I said calmly. But I'm allowed to record in my own home with posted notice. There's a sign on the security camera box in the front hallway. You both walked past it every day. I'd researched, documented, covered every legal angle. Get out of my house, I said quietly. Both of you. Now, they tried arguing. Derek got aggressive, stepped toward me. That's when Detective Morrison knocked on the door. Perfect timing. Coordinated. She'd been parked down the street, waiting. Mrs. Henderson? Everything all right? Lisa and Derek left that evening. Took their belongings in trash bags, faces hard with fury and fear. My house felt empty after. Not lonely. Empty in a clean way, like a wound draining poison. The trial took 4 months to reach court. In that time, I discovered more. Derek had a criminal record in Ohio, fraud, forgery. He'd served 18 months, gotten out, changed his name legally from Derek Matthews to Derek Walsh, and never told Lisa about his past. Or maybe she'd known. Detective Morrison found emails between them discussing the Ohio problem and keeping it quiet. The prosecutor assigned to the case was thorough. Jessica Torres, 15 years in elder abuse prosecution. She built an overwhelming case. The forged power of attorney, the fake medical records, the stolen ATM withdrawals, the attempted quitclaim deed, Derek's criminal history, Lisa's access to medical databases. I testified for 3 hours, walked the jury through financial documents with the same precision I'd used in boardroom presentations, showed them my ledgers, my records, my systematic documentation of every discrepancy. Defense argued I was vindictive, that I'd misunderstood their help, that Derek's past was irrelevant. The jury deliberated 90 minutes. Guilty, all counts. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Judge Catherine Reynolds read the charges, the evidence, the impact on me. Then she looked at Lisa and Derek. This court has seen many cases of financial exploitation, but the systematic nature of your conspiracy, the forged documents, the fake medical records, the calculated abuse of trust, represents particularly egregious conduct. She paused. Lisa Walsh, you exploited your position in medical billing to create false records about your own mother. Derek Walsh, you concealed a criminal history and masterminded this fraud. Lisa got 7 years. Derek got 12, enhanced by his prior conviction. I sat in the courtroom, watching them led away. Lisa looked back once, I don't know what she wanted to see in my face. Forgiveness? Regret? I gave her nothing, just watched her go. Afterward, Jessica Torres walked me to my car. You did good, Mrs. Henderson. Really good. Most victims in your situation don't have the skills to document like you did. 35 years of accounting, I said. Follow the money, verify the sources, trust, but verify. She smiled. Have you thought about what's next? I had. During those 4 months, I'd started volunteering. Local senior center, teaching financial literacy classes, showing elderly residents how to protect themselves, how to spot the warning signs, how to document, how to fight back. Someone tried to steal my life, I told Jessica. Everything Thomas and I built, I won't let that happen to others if I can prevent it. A month later, I sold the house. Too many memories, not all of them good anymore. Bought a smaller condo in a senior community. Donated $500,000 to the Senior Center's Financial Protection Program. The program grew. We taught classes, reviewed documents for residents, connected people with resources. Jennifer Martinez, the bank teller who'd saved me, started volunteering too. She had a gift for spotting fraud. One afternoon, 6 months after the trial, I was teaching a class on power of attorney documents when a woman in the back row raised her hand. My son wants me to sign one of these. How do I know if it's legitimate? I walked her through it. The questions to ask, the protections to require, the warning signs. Afterward, she thanked me, eyes wet. My sister lost everything to her daughter. I don't want that to be me. It won't be, I promised. Not if you know what to look for. That evening, I stood on my condo balcony, looking at the sunset. Thomas would have liked this view. I'd honored his memory by protecting what we'd built, by turning betrayal into purpose. My phone buzzed. Email from the senior center. 3 new people signed up for next month's class. 3 more I could help protect. I smiled, went inside, opened my laptop, started preparing materials, teaching again, in a way. Different subject than Thomas and I had imagined for retirement, but meaningful. Lisa would be eligible for parole in 5 years. Derek in 8. I didn't know what I'd feel if they reached out. Forgiveness seemed impossible, but indifference was achievable. They'd made their choices, lived with consequences. I'd made mine too. Chose documentation over denial, justice over convenience, purpose over bitterness. The orchids I'd saved from the old house bloomed on my new balcony. Different view, same light, same care, same growth. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to Velour Vengeance, and share your thoughts in the comments. Click the box on the left for the next story. Thank you for watching.